waking up at 5 in the morning. Why did you guys choose this?
I don't wake up at 5 in the morning.
So,
not a morning person.
My name's Dave Whitson. I am the managing partner and head coach at CrossFit SOAR.
My name is Nast Whitson, or Nast, and I'm his wife. I run BirthFit. It's called BirthFit Hawthorne, and I'm also a run-in coach here, so I'm really excited to be able to do that full time.
I found CrossFit when I was in college, and I believe Nast and I were dating at the time. So Nast was a track and field athlete, so I pretended to run a little bit. I don't know why, I shouldn't have. And pretended, I ran a little bit. But so then I started looking up bodyweight workouts, and that's when I saw CrossFit.com. So we're talking a long time ago, 3 website versions ago, before the first CrossFit Games. So I saw it then, and there was bodyweight workouts, stuff I could do anywhere. I never really enjoyed traditional lifting at the gym. I didn't do it that much either at that time, but yeah, it was just something different and new, and people weren't doing it, so that's why I started doing it.
So I was introduced to CrossFit by Dave, and I was not excited about it at all. Like Dave said, I was a track and field athlete at a Division I college, UMass Amherst, and you know, we were taught some lifts, but nothing like the way we learn it now, nothing like the technique and the standards that we hold. And then I got injured, and at the age of 22, and a doctor told me I pretty much couldn't do any exercise ever again. And Dave was really the first person to say, what do you mean you can't squat? Or what do you mean you can't deadlift ever again? You do it every single day when you sit in your car, in a chair, when you go to the bathroom. And I thought about it. I said, you know what, you're right. But I still wasn't sold on CrossFit. So I saw him plugging away every single day and sticking with it. And honestly, just seeing that inspired me to work out with him. He actually tricked me into a couple workouts, cardio workouts, where there was running involved, and I felt like he let me beat him.
It's not true at all.
Okay.
Don't start running. It's not true at all.
So, you know, I started liking the movements, and I really didn't think I could handle weights, you know, doing any sort of weight training, but I learned how to do them properly with Dave's help. And slowly but surely, I finally decided to walk into his gym, and I met some really awesome people who welcomed me in. And you know, I wanted to pay that forward every day since then. So anytime someone walks in, I just wanted to make them feel at home and make them feel like they're part of a family, part of a community. And I really think that was one of the things that drew me into CrossFit, even though he'd been doing it for like 3 years at that point. So when someone comes in and says, you know, I'm not really excited about this, I say, I can relate.
Yeah, it was way longer than 3 years, and I was at SOAR
right.
I was at SOAR for at least 6 months before she worked out at SOAR. Maybe 3 months, something like that. The community is always evolving. The fantastic thing is that it's always been great, right? So we're very fortunate in the sense where we have members that they care about having that. They want that. They don't want to come in, not talk to anybody, and not know their coaches. They want to hang out. They want to go out to dinner. We know their families. We know their struggles. So it's a little different because the members, it's almost, let's call us like the new bartenders. Usually people go to a bar, they complain to their bartender, the bartender tries to help them, crack jokes, whatever it is. So now we have that end of it. So we hear people's struggles, we hear what they're going through, and we see their friends within SOAR that they hang out with, they go out with. Their families hang out together. They have weekend dinner parties at each other's houses. Their kids work out in the kids class. So it's helped people find that community they might have lost as they started a family.
You know, for a while, Dave and I lived with his parents, with my in-laws. You know, his father, the way I like to say it is he's overcoming Parkinson's. He's had it for many, many years. And his mom had breast cancer. So we lived with them for just under 5 years, and it was rough. You know, we pretty much worked and worked and worked. We didn't go out. We didn't have you know, the friends and community that we do now. So it definitely allowed us an opportunity to have friends as well and just create our own tribe. So it was just a really big blessing. Like I said before, when I walked in and people were so welcoming, we really wanted to make that the foundation of CrossFit SOAR, is the community and that tribe.
So why do people need CrossFit SOAR? I think people have lost the connection between their mind and their body, right? So CrossFit allows people to make that connection, because CrossFit is not something where you can come in, not think, just kind of go through the paces and leave, right? You don't get better at CrossFit that way. You're at a higher risk of getting injured that way. So I always called CrossFit like a thinking man's sport, okay? So CrossFit helps make that connection, and it also gives people something to strive for and get better for. That's quite honestly selfish, right? It's about them. Because most of our members, they have kids, or they're in the process of having kids, or they've worked so hard to get a career set, or they want this house, and they've done all these things, and it's great, but it's not something daily they're doing for themselves. So I feel like what CrossFit SOAR brings outside that family, that community, that tribe, is that it gives them something to focus on, where every day they learn or they do something for themselves. And most of us don't do that. I mean, we are selfish at times, but we actually don't do stuff that makes ourselves better. We usually just do stuff that kind of, I'm just trying to think of the best word, I don't want to use medicate, but kind of soothe the rest of our day. Instead, CrossFit can actually, hey, it soothes what you got going on, the stress, it helps with that, but it also makes you a better human being. We want you to be a better human being, and that makes you feel good. So every day you're doing something to make yourself better, which most of the time you're doing stuff for other people. It's always about someone else. So I think people need CrossFit SOAR because it'll help bring that family community back, as well as it gives them something to do for themselves instead of worrying about everyone else.
Wow, that was a good answer.
Thanks. Good luck.
I have nothing to add. We're one, remember?
Yeah.
What he said.
Makes them a more confident person.
I think they're just happier. We're happier.
Yeah.
In one sentence, keeping it short, how would you describe CrossFit SOAR?
I don't know. Oh, it's Nast. You want to go first?
No. You know, I think when I think about Dave and how much he's done and sacrificed, and he continues to grow, it just inspires so many people. You know, he gets out of his comfort zone and is constantly striving to not just make my life better, you know, because I know he thinks about me whenever he comes in, but other people's lives better. And he goes home and, you know, he hears people and what they come in with, and he actually tries to help them and research and refer them. And if he doesn't have the answer, he's like, hey, you should check this out, you know? And I love that. We don't have all the answers. We're not the secret. We're not. And that's one thing I'm learning. But, you know, you fall in love with the community. You fall in love with the, I don't even know how to describe it, with the people and their families, and you learn about them like he was saying before. And I think, you know, I'm just thinking of all the memories that we've made, the friends that we've made, the fun trips that we've been on, the cool people like you who we've met along the way. We've made some of the best of friends. And no matter what life hits you, sometimes you can come into a place and it's a bubble. And you can get away from life for a little bit, you can be uplifted for a little bit, and then take that little bit of hope that you have and just put it right back out into the world. And I think this place brings hope. That's the first word that comes to mind. So just to get around other people that lift you up and that can put some hope into you, to let you know, hey, you can do this thing called life. Life can be hard, life can be challenging. You know, that WOD, Fran, is challenging, right? But if you can get through Fran, you can get through this. If you can get through this WOD, you can get through this part of life. And you know what? The biggest thing is you don't have to do it alone. We're here for you. We're tight. We're a family. That's CrossFit Soar.
CrossFit Soar to me is home. We've put a lot of time, a lot of hours, a lot of time apart. A lot of sacrifices to make this place what it is. And it's not like we did stuff by ourselves. There's people along the way, but no one will ever know what it took because most people aren't willing to do it. They're just not willing to, you know? So I don't need to share everything, but it's not like it's easy. You know, it still isn't easy. I enjoy it a lot more. Before it was a really hard grind, 18-hour days, 3 hours of sleep and 4 hours of sleep in a night and everything. I don't do that as much anymore, thankfully. But it's made this place a home, not just for us, but for a lot of people. So that was part of our goal. When Steve and I first met up and talked about it, we kind of had the same values and the mission statement for SOAR, to make it the best hour of people's day. To make it so everyone has their primary home and then they have their secondary place to go to. And we always want SOAR to be that second place on the list. Instead of the bar, instead of this, instead of, you know, just eating all this food, hey, come to SOAR. You know what? When I feel good, I'm going to SOAR. When I feel down, I'm going to SOAR. And that's what we wanted. So CrossFit Soar to me is a home. So it's been a trip. My family still doesn't know what this place is. What's
that gym thing you're doing?
The gym thing. Still, it actually should be here soon. The gym thing.